Hi everyone, welcome to Chalchitra Talks, and hi everyone, welcome to Kitaabi Cabins. मेरा नाम वाणी है, and we'll just get started with the live stream. I do one mistake and then I kind of lose track with what I was headed for. Anyway, hi everyone, good morning. I'm not sure if anyone has joined the stream, if in case you have. Oh, Uma is here already. Hi, Uma. Good morning. Hi, everyone. This is nice. I hope everyone can hear me and see me well. And for those of you who are complaining about the audio quality, I've also gotten the mic. Okay. This is Diljit saying good afternoon. Hi, Diljit. Good morning. Good afternoon. Penumbra is here. Oh, Penumbra is on time this time. Good morning. So it's a fun thing. Before we get started, I woke up at 6:30, I guess, and I'm moving places again. So my whole room is a mess. The only part that's clean is like behind me, and that too because I moved everything to this side of the to the side of my room. So now this place is a mess, and the only tidy corner is here that you see. And apart from that, there's not lava on the floor, but there are clothes on the floor, there are bags on the floor, there are cartons on the floor, everything's a mess. But yeah, I like how there's only one small corner where I'm streaming from right now that's clean. And I was wearing a yellow t-shirt like this one that you see, and I was wearing it, and it looked like I haven't even showered, which is kind of true. I haven't even showered, but then I was looking so out of place, and then I wore a sweatshirt, and I was like, for some reason, I look put together, not that put together, but like somewhat put together. Hi, good morning, Sumit. Hi, good morning, Farzi. Nandu is here. Hi, good morning, Nandu. I remember Penambra's comment. I don't know if it's a she or a he, I'm sorry. But they had commented that they'll be in time for the stream next time. And Kitaabi Cabins said, oh, we'll hold you accountable. It's so nice. So it's nice to see everyone here, most of you here on time. Good morning, everyone. It's a she. Hi, Penumbra. So she had commented. So I have quite a few books with me today. Honestly, I haven't planned very well for the stream today. Like usually, I have picked up sections of the books that I'm going to read, and I haven't yet picked out exactly what sections I'll read. But there's a poetry book, and there are 3 books on cooking, which I plan to read with you guys today. Mayank is in the chat. Hi, Mayank. Good morning. How are you? And there are 22 people watching the stream. Guys, do like the stream. It really helps us grow. Yeah, but like a placeholder slide of sorts where I explain every time why you should like, share, and subscribe to the channel, and also share the stream and everything. Because I feel like I repeat myself at least twice in every stream or video. Hi, Karan. Good morning. Yes, we'll get started with a beautiful poem. I have Mary Oliver's new and selected poems. I think this is volume 1. Yeah, I was looking for where's the part 1 written. So, okay, we'll get started with something by Mary Oliver. If anybody has any request for Mary Oliver's poem, please let me know. I just think it's like it's like a very no. I couldn't think of anything because I woke up this morning and I even forgot to stream the stream last night, because I was exhausted after trying to pack. Moving is a hectic process. And last time when I moved houses, I had so many acne, stress acne, and extreme dryness because of dust. I don't know how many of you experience it, but like every time I have to venture out in dust, my skin swells up and it gets very dry, and I'm trying not to repeat the same mistakes that I did last time when I was moving. So yeah, there's a poem called Morning. Let's see what's it called. No, how it goes. Oh, no. It's very... Let's see. There's wild geese that I really like. Nature, the lilies break open. Little... Okay. Okay. I'm trying to find a small, tiny poem which I cannot, for the life of me, find it right now. Uh, Actually, you know what? I recently came across a poem which I do not have now, but I'll read it out to you from here. Uh, yes. Um, this is called As Long as There Is Love, There Is Grief. And I think I shared it in a book club also for a lot of you. It's by Heidi Free. I don't know how to pronounce the name. There should be a special dictionary dedicated to all the names. But anyway, it goes like this. The grief of time passing, of life moving on half finished, of empty spaces that were once bursting with the laughter and energy of people we loved. As long as there is love, there will be grief, because grief is love's natural continuation. It shows up in the aisles of stores we once frequented, in the half finished bottle of wine we pour out, in the whiff of cologne we get 2 years after they've been gone. Grief is a giant neon sign protruding through everything, pointing everywhere, broadcasting loudly. Love was here. And in the finer print, quietly, love still is. And I think it's one of the best poems I came across in 2021. Not that I read a lot of poetry, but I think it stayed with me so much that I shared it in the book club, and a few members also really loved it and they shared it further. And for some reason, I was going through it yesterday because there are so many things you discover when you're packing stuff, like a lot of things. Give me 1 second. Yeah. Hi Yash, good morning. Hi Subhashini, good morning. Nikita is here. I'm doing well. Thank you for asking. I hope you guys liked the stream. And yeah, thank you, Shagun. Thank you so much. I colored them and now I feel kind of sad because I'm losing the red, and I was really enjoying my redhead phase. And I wish it would last just a couple more months, but it's already started fading out. So now it looks like a version of brown, but I don't mind the brown hair also. Anyway, I would have loved the red. Hi, Hari. Good morning. Shagun is here. Everyone's joining, and guys do like the stream. And the more you like the stream, the more it gets recommended to people, and it just eventually helps us out. Now, I've brought 3 books with me today. The Flavor of Spice, Tiffin, and Masala Lab, which are the 3 books that I've been referring to for cooking recently. This is what I tell every time I meet anyone. I think I've nailed the North Indian side of cooking, like at least 85% of it. And I'll do the rest of it as well, like the major vegetarian chunk. Like the non-vegetarian parts are left. And once I master them, I'll quickly move to other delicacies. I'm not sure if I'm any good, but like, what was the mic? I'm sorry. I also colored. Yash colored his hair. Nice. Thank you, Yash. Do share a photograph. Shagni, the brown looks related. Oh, thank you. Do you have any poem you keep going back to time and again? I really have a phase. Like these days, I keep not these days. I'm not going back to any of the poems because I'm not reading anything. I'm trying to focus on Yukant, and because I'm moving, it gives me even lesser time to read. But I have quite a few favorite poems. If you're talking about Mary Oliver, there's this poem that everyone knows, Wild Geese. That is something I really like, and I keep on going back to. I keep on going back to Language Games by Agha Shahidali. And I think like finally after years, I've come quite close to understanding it. Please read. Oh, so I can do that because I can see the book somewhere there. Wait, I need my specs to figure out where the book is. Oh yeah, it's not. Oh, it's there. Yeah, it's there, and I can actually go there, but There's a sea of things in the middle. But I'll get it for you in a few minutes. Did you read any of Shiv? I think I was recommended Shiv Khera when I was growing up in school. And I think I read some of Shiv Khera's one book when I was in class 8th or 7th. Because somebody I knew, like our next door neighbors had a daughter and she recommended me the book and we exchanged books and she gave it to me. Okay, good. Oh, I get it. Market Crorepati. Since you brought up the books, I wanted to ask, do you like books like Masala Lab really make you? I just think it, with Masala Lab, I haven't read it as of now, but it's just made me, like the little that I've read, I realized like there's a science to cooking. Like, so I'm a very, not fact-based person, but I like to know reasons why a certain something is being done a certain way. Otherwise, I'll just keep on experimenting even further. Not that I don't experiment now. I still experiment in the kitchen a lot. It's like my own science lab. But with Masala Lab, all the questions that you've asked until now to your mothers or whatever, mothers and grandmothers and other people, they just get answered. Like, why do you actually need a pressure cooker? And why a certain amount of this paste should be added or that paste should be added? What does it do better, etc., etc. So I think definitely it doesn't necessarily make you a better cook, but it gives you a reason for what you're doing in the kitchen. I think this is what I feel. Since you brought up books, I wanted to ask, do books... Okay. Yep, another take on something from the School of Life. Let's go. Where's the green tea, Vaani? The last time I brought green tea to the live stream, I realized I did not get a chance to sip on it, and then eventually it got very cold. So I thought I'll just have water this time because I have to do a lot of talking. But please don't read the Good Child chapter. Oh yeah, the Good Child chapter scarred me. My friend loved Masala Lab. Thank you for recommending. Oh, nice. Coffee Dictionary is also fun, but I'll go get the book. Yeah. It wasn't that difficult. No, was it? It wasn't really. I just had to go, turn around, get the book. That's that. Oh, I should. My friend loved the Masala. Okay. Hi, Krishna Devs. Good morning. Anyway, I've done the importance of breakdown. There's vulnerability, which I really like. Let's do vulnerability today. So, Swati Priya, hi, good morning. So, everyone who's watching right now, we're reading The School of Life, and we're reading page number 102, or if you have a different copy, we're reading vulnerability. And it's so nice to stream with specs on, like, there's no stress on my eyes because I go blind perpetually when I wear, without specs. Okay. Anyway, please keep on commenting your thoughts about this topic as well. And we can take this up the discussion later on in the text. And if there is anybody who'd like to summarize it in the chats as well, please go on, because I think it'll just help people who are joining now. Vulnerability. There is a particular way of discussing oneself which, however long it goes on for, never fails to win friends, reassure audiences, comfort couples, bring solace to the single and buy the goodwill of enemies. The confession of vulnerability. To hear that we have failed, that we are sad, that it was our fault, that our partners didn't seem to like us much, that we are lonely, that we wished it might all be over, there is scarcely anything nicer anyone could learn. This is often taken to signal a basic nastiness in human nature, but the truth is more poignant. We are not so much crowing when we hear of failures as deeply reassured. Reassured to know that we aren't humiliatingly alone with the appalling difficulties of being alive. Appalling difficulties of being alive. It is all too easy to suspect that we have been uniquely cursed in the extent of our troubles, of which we seldom find evidence in the lives around us. We put so much effort into being perfect. But the irony is that it's failure that charms because others so need to hear external evidence of problems with which we are all too lonely. How unnormal our sex lives are, how arduous our careers are proving, how unsatisfactory our family can be, how worried we are pretty much all the time. Revealing any of these wounds might, of course, place us in great danger. Others could laugh, the media could have a field day, and that's the point. We get close by revealing things that would, in the wrong hands, be capable of inflicting humiliation on us. Friendship is the dividend of gratitude that flows from an acknowledgement that one has offered something very valuable by talking, the key to one's self esteem and dignity. It's deeply poignant that we should expend so much effort on trying to look strong before the world when all the while it's really only ever the revelation of the somewhat embarrassing, sad, melancholy, and anxious bits of us that renders us endearing to others and transforms strangers into friends. So, this was the part on vulnerability. Let me know how you guys liked it. I think it's one of my favorite sections because I am a widely self-proclaimed private person, and every time I post, even like a birthday wish for anybody on a public platform or share anything that's related to my personal life, I kind of overthink for hours after doing so because I feel very embarrassed, as if I've shared something that's very mm, privy to my personal life, and it'll bring me embarrassment. But vulnerability is like when I went through this, I realized okay, there are small parts of your life which you should be okay with sharing because that is what brings us closer. And the proof wasn't this. There was this one poem that I'd shared about how this is an advice by somebody's grandmother. It's also on my feed. And she tells the other person to take it step by step. And when I shared it as a story, there were so many people who wrote to me like, "Oh my God, this is what I needed for the day and everything." And I personally was struggling that day. And when I shared it with people and the way they responded, I realized I'm not the only person who's struggling. And so I posted, and because of the number of people who wrote back to me, I just made it part of the feed just in case somebody comes talking and reads it. It's just something that's nice to have in your mind. I do overthink. I feel so embarrassed also after posting things on Instagram, fear of judgment, I think. Yeah. That could be it as well. And then there's a part of me that always wants to be very protective of the personal relationships that I have, and I do not want them to be talked about, and so on and so on forth. Shagunazar, do you have more recommendations from Ellen the Bottom? Um, I haven't read most of his works apart from School for Life, but there is, like you said, Essays in Love. That's one that has been recommended a lot by Namita as well, Namita Dubey. And I remember I listened to podcasts, and there was a certain podcast of Ellen de Botton with a woman who's asking him questions, I think in French, but he was answering in English. And there he talks about what Essays in Love is about and what it is, what it contains. And I have been interested in it since then, but I never picked it up anyway. Have I read Jail Diary by Bhagat Singh? Yeah. Mm, I don't know what I think I have volume 5 of something, and it has it's Bhagat Singh's Jail Diary. I have volume 4 and volume 5. Volume 4 is a collection of I don't know what I couldn't understand volume 4 because I don't understand, but volume 5 is his diary of sorts. So I've read that, but I read it a long time ago. But I remember even when I was reading it, I was thinking his philosophy on life, religion, and spirituality is something that um, all of us should read to learn from, not as in to copy it word to word, but we can derive our own experiences from there. People say you're average of 3 people you hang out with, but if you live solo and watch Chalchitra in Kitaabi cabins, oh, amazing. I don't think, you know what, this is something I've also thought about a lot, that you're the average of 4 or 3 people. But today is the age of content, and I believe what you don't get in the 3 or 4 people around you, you get through content. So if you're someone who has pretty lousy friends and you're just watching Instagram reels about dancing and whatnot, there's nothing, not much. You'll stay the average of these people. You'd want to do more of what you're watching, and that's what your mindset will become like. Not that that's bad or anything, but I think you become the average of all the content you consume, and the content is just not uh, what your friends provide you with, or the three of you, four people around you provide you with, but in general, everything that you're consuming, whether it's the paper, whether it's the daily, whether it's the newsletter you've subscribed to, whether it's the Instagram handles you watch, or whether it's the kind of TV shows you watch. I've been watching a lot of K dramas these days, but then they're kind of nice, laid back, and I don't because I think I go back. This is something I was discussing with Vaibhav the other day, and it was basically about how we maintain. Okay, I don't know, but we share with each other what we are watching or reading or anything, because essentially we're a recommendation based platform and we like consuming content. That is, we like storytelling and so forth and so on and so forth. And every time I am experiencing a breakdown, there is extreme stress around me. Like right now, I'm moving houses. Suddenly, suddenly my watch list becomes very uh, either reality TV, or it becomes very rom-comish, like things that really don't need you to spend a lot of brain function on them. One skincare tip: drink water. Yes, drink water and sunscreen. Um, Amazing. But nice for everyone who's watching. Do like the streams. I'm becoming a printed, pirated version of you, and I'm on my way to ad. Nice. Please don't become a pirated version. I'm pretty certain you're such a good version of yourself. Oh, this is the thing. This was my favorite. So there's chicken soup for teenage soul, and we used to have tons of those chicken soup for teenage soul and other copies in our school library when I was growing up. And there was this very useless rule where you had to finish a certain category of books, and only then would you be allowed to have access to other books in the library. And so the first 1 year, like four, class five, I just spent reading Chicken Soup and then A to Z Mysteries, etc., etc. And I remember, I think in class five, could be class six also actually. Um, I came across this quote in Chicken Soup for Teenage Soul, which said, I don't remember the line now. And I had it here on the tip of my tongue as well when I was starting with this. But it was about being the first version of yourself. And I loved it so much. I had it printed everywhere. I had it written in my diary and on every front page of anything that was posted. Because I just think the idea of being yourself was something that was relatively not new, but it was something so empowering. Like, hey, I don't need to satisfy everybody's expectations, and I can be whosoever I want to be as long as I'm happy with it. And that's so I think like we there are certain books which are very mainstream, like Chicken Soup for Teenage Soul or Enid Blyton's adventure series, etc. They're so mainstream that sometimes we ignore them. But I think they'll lay the foundation for your life if you read them early on in your life, and even if you read them now. Like I'm reading Harry Potter series. I started reading it and I realized why people actually like it so much. So if you come across books that you've heard of a lot, especially when you were growing up, you never had the chance to read it, I recommend you pick it up because there is something you'll take away from the book. What? Ahoy. What Arpit Ka Pathak. When was the first time you came to? My first relationship was with my mother because I was born to and she was so nice to me. Such a silly answer. Is it difficult to leave the house where you've lived for a long time and moved on? I mean, what really bothers me is the moving part. And I think that's mostly because I wasn't a fan of this place. That's why I'm not very bothered. But I mean, if you're able to make a home out of any place, any space, I think it becomes difficult to move out of it. So I think I've kind of stopped making homes out of places because it gets difficult to move out. I mean, I usually do not get attached to people, but I get attached to places where I'm living and stuff, which is weird. But yes, please film your skincare routine. Oh, do you have Oh, hi, Shagun. I know they're very difficult to take care of. Um, I just don't think there's skin, but you also need to take care of a lot of things you eat and work out properly. I break out a lot, especially when I'm stressing. It's very difficult, and I understand your struggle as well. But I think more than the skincare, it's also what you eat and what you consume. I struggle with chocolates. I love Cadbury Dairy Milk, and I just keep on eating it every time I'm stressed. But you have to cut down on sugar. I've cut down dairy as well. So please see if dairy helps. Um, Vani, the video on pencils. Oh, I want to talk about the video on pencils. How many of you have seen it? Please comment. Like, if by a show of hands, please let me know if you've uh, if you've seen the video. We need more of that. Yes, I'm actually planning to do another video on fountain pens. We'll use the same ink for everyone. We'll do on fountain pens, we'll do different types of inks, we'll do gel pens, we'll do ballpoint pens, we'll also do paper quality and stuff. But I'm trying to make it very affordable series. Like, I don't want to get too expensive stuff. I want to go to like random stationery shops where you get access to a lot of things, where anybody, if you like any of the pens that I've used in the video, you can still access it. It's like just, and it's very, it's a very, I mean, I don't know. It's only my perspective, so I don't know how much you should trust my judgment. But yes. Do you think when a mind gets flooded with lots of knowledge and emotional pain, then we write a start podcast? Oh, I don't think so. uh, I mean, there are different outlets that you can have if you have a lot of knowledge and trauma or emotional experience. Um, but then podcast writing is just not the only outlet. Of course, it's a good outlet, but it shouldn't be the reason why you start a podcast. Or you're right. You should, in general, try to do podcast anyway. Diljit also saw the video. Amazing. I'm not sure when the next vlog is coming soon, hopefully. I filmed it a long time ago, and I think we'll be finally putting it out sometime soon. Me too. Oh, okay. Yeah. Everyone liked it. Amazing. One book I want to recommend for loneliness. I used to recommend everyone The Lonely City, but then I realized it's just a very sad book. And I think in the long run, I've also realized whatever book you read will help you like be less lonely. So if you are lonely and you want to read something, pick it up. It'll help you be less lonely. But if you're someone who's looking for addressing their loneliness, I think The Lonely City is a nice book to start from. Even though it's slightly sad and you'll have some existential crisis, there's so much to learn from this book. And if you're lonely, do write to people, do get back with your friends, call friends, etc., etc. Read Lust for Life, Subhash. Oh yes, Krishna. That's Lust for Life is also a nice book on loneliness. I see we've had Stationery never yet. Oh yes. I think I'm a pirated version of you, Penumbra. I don't know. I want to see journals. I have so many of those, all empty lying around, begging to be touched and to be written into, but most of them are so pretty. I feel I would. Oh, this is the case with this particular diary that a friend of mine gifted me. So it's like an imprinted leaf. Like there were quite a few leaves, and then they tore this paper off, and then this is recycled paper. I started writing on it, but I thought I'd ruin it, and so now it's empty, and I just don't know what to do with this diary, but it's extremely pretty. what happened. We're working on Records from the Hills. We'll definitely shoot something in the first half of this year, and we'll get back to you. This is because I think the Records from the Hills season 2.0 is going to be very personal. So I'm still working on it, still scripting, and I don't know how long it'll take, but I think most likely we'll shoot it in March, April. Yeah, I'm targeting March end. Do you ever thought of reading? I think there was a phase where I was reading a lot of mangas, but yeah, I think that phase is gone. Do you journal? I've been wanting to start. I have an on and off relationship with journaling, but every time I journal, it's nice. Ooh, yes, and in case you need ideas to start journaling, I think I started with one good thing that happened that day and one area where I could have improved the quote from the day and other thoughts. And I just, that's how I started journaling because I used to journal when I was a child, but then I lost my touch with journaling. But then this helped me get back. But then eventually you'll just start in the groove and you won't need any prompts. Krishna has suggested, I don't have friends. I try calling people, they don't pick up calls. I'm sorry about that. Oh dear, don't make me cry. You read all the positive books. Do I? I mean, yeah, I've been avoiding a lot of heavy literature recently. Ooh, I just read a book where the protagonist had to leave her house and there was almost a page written on how she felt. Oh, I think for that, I have my parents' house. I never almost want to come back. But I think after a week, you kind of just have disagreements and you realize, okay, I'm better off alone. But I think it's my parents' house, um, which is in Mandi, um, on the outskirts. But I think I love that place so much because there's so much familiarity and you have already built your um, pockets of stillness there. So, my greatest fear in life. Um, I don't know. At the moment, there are so many I can think of, but I don't know. Not a good answer at the moment. Somehow, I don't know how this stream turned into a therapy session where I'm advising people because I'm the worst person to take advice from. Anyway, I want to move to. Nobody actually talked about vulnerability that I read from this book. Let me know how you liked that segment. I really like how it talks about really um, how we try to look strong before everybody when in the and that is what actually leads to loneliness because everyone does not relate to you and nobody can relate to each other because everyone is being so I'm so good, I'm so cool, I'm always happy. And because we're not being vulnerable, it's hard to identify with people. Anyway, uh, because we feel vulnerable talking about it. Oh, okay. Am I the only person who's going to be vulnerable on the live streams? That's not done. Do the best solution to it, keep low and let it pass, hoping to be unseen. This is the book called The Flavor of Spice. And I really wanted to understand spices because I think my struggle with getting into cooking was because I just did not understand what flavor, what spice did what. Why do we use only haldi and nothing else? And is that the only reason why we use haldi to add color to the vegetables, etc., etc.? And this book, The Flavor of Spice, has three basic sections. It's called, there is the big four. Then there are the aromatics, the seed spices, and then there are like mixed chapters there. They're just at the end. The big four talks about the four main ingredients, which is chili, cumin, turmeric, coriander. And then you have the aromatics, which is like cinnamon, saffron, nutmeg, and mace. Pepper, cardamom, lye, clove. And then you have seed spices, which is mustard, poppy, other seed spices. And I started reading and I'm still on the first few chapters of the Big Four, but it actually talks about where what came from. So chilies basically came from Mexico essentially, and they were imported. They were brought to India when I don't know. Give me 1 second. But I've also made notes like between. So it's kind of interesting, but I'm not going to bore you with the theory. But it's just a book I wanted to share with you guys. Uh, I once ate khichdi without haldi. Okay. Um, then I have Tiffin, which I want to talk about. And I wanted to read something from Tiffin as well. So, Tiffin is actually, this is what I learned from this book. It's by Rukmini Srinivas. So, Tiffin is actually a word that's derived from tiffin, which is a verb which was used by the British to which was used by British to talk about, which was a term used by British for small meals that you have with a drink and or like snacks to accompany a drink. Apparently, Rukmini Srinivas is a popular television chef on the local Arlington cable network. But anyway, this is a memoir come cookbook, and she shares the memories and recipes of food that she's cooked and eaten over many decades. And because she's traveled extensively, there is a story for everything. And this is a book that made me buy the steel tiffin box that I don't know, I used to see elders have when I was a child, and I was never allowed access to them. But um, yeah, I mean, this is a book that gave way to the traditional tiffin box in my life. I don't know why though. Anyway, I love the paper quality as well, and I don't know why I'm getting into this, but paper quality was one of the reasons why I bought this book. And she talks about her parents, her siblings, the food that her mother would pack when she would go to the school, and then the cafe, the mess in the college canteen. What would have it? What would the I don't know why I'm fumbling so much with my thoughts today. Um, but the food that was offered to her in the mess at the college and contains all of these. And I've spoken so much about it at length already. But that's that. I feel vulnerable pretty much every day. I think I missed quite a few comments, but okay. That's a good segment about vulnerability. Please keep doing it daily. And this question, do you separate the art from the artist or do you keep the art and the artist together? Like sometimes there is some controversy stuff too. So like what's your take on that? I think I usually like to separate the art from the artist. And it's very subjective. There are times when you cannot separate the art and the artist um, because who the artist is, that is what has given way to the art. But there are moments where you are able to make that differentiation like, hey, this problematic part of the artist is not, this problematic part of him has not given way to or has um, built this piece of art. So I'm usually somebody who separates the art from the artist. Having said that, I'm still not a big fan of Bukowski, but I like some of his poetry. I think he was somebody who was problematic, but nonetheless, there are some of his works that are actually good. However, there are some which are very questionable from my perspective. But then I think I remember there was this once I was talking about Woody Allen and I was recommending some short story. And I think that short story was really, really nice. And I remember somebody getting very offended in the chats, like 2 to 3 people got very offended. But I was like, hey, this is a nice piece of work. And I think if you are somebody who can get access to this, you should definitely pick it up because there's so much to learn. But if you're not going to read it because it's Woody Allen, I think you will miss out on something that's beautiful. And I think I also come from a very selfish place because I want to discover all the nice things. I want to discover and read all the nice things in the world and witness art that's amazing. And I do not want to avoid doing that because of a part of them which is problematic. Having said that, I would have a problem with the artist, but I would still separate the art. So I don't know, but I think there are quite a few people who disagree with me, and I respect the difference we share, the difference of opinions that we share. But for me, I think it's still very important that I appreciate the art that's brought to me because I would love it anyway if it's good. And I do not want to miss out on it just because, not just because, I mean, just because is a major reason, but I don't want to miss out on it because of some felony they committed, or a certain incident that is very traumatic for people around them. But I still would consume that art. I think the right question should be, but I mean, I don't know. So I like to separate the art from the artist, especially if the art is amazing. Very selfish decision, but it is what it is. Speaking of okay, people are getting a lot of rebuke for playing the Harry Potter video game. Thoughts? I mean, oh, I do not want this stream to go in a direction where we talk about. But anyway, I think we have to. All artists which are non-controversial in future will. True, absolutely, and I agree. Like a few days ago, I saw this tweet which called out a certain. I wouldn't name the person because they're comparatively a big name in the world of intellect. Honestly, I don't even remember what they exactly spoke about, but they talked about this person from the, I think, from I think a a hero from I think 14th, 15th century of sorts, and she spoke about how it's just problematic to read this person. And come to think of it, if you look at anything from the lens of a 2023 woke person, a lot of people would be cancelled today. What is right then is to judge these people from the lens of the era they were living in. I mean, I would be cancelled if you look at me from today's lens, because I mean, I've done problematic stuff in life, but I just think we should be open enough in that regards. But of course, there are certain things which are not good for any era, and they are illegal. They are obviously not right. I'm so uncomfortable discussing this, but nonetheless, not everything can meet the lens of what we are trying to build today. And I think we should accept that fact. And canceling people with the way people are canceling people, of course, there are certain people who deserve it, wouldn't go against the fact. But at the rate with which we are canceling people, there is no room left for freedom of speech or freedom of thought or creativity to blossom, because everyone's worried about, hey, what if my next sentence or what if my next word upsets somebody? And I think that's very problematic. Where do you draw the line? That's a very good question. Everyone has different sensibilities. What might be drawing the line for me would upset so many people. I think vulnerability to some extent helps you connect with others on emotional level. This might not be the strong example, but I gave birth to my twins when I was just 6. Oh, wow. I hope everyone's doing well. But yeah, I think vulnerability is one aspect, because I think sometimes we're so afraid to accept. Sometimes we're just being hypocrites. Hypocritic. Remember the episode of We Calling We where you described how this work really disrespectful. That was really. See, I think that was a work of fiction, Abhishek, and B, okay, we just have 15 minutes left for the stream also, but that was a work of fiction. Not all the thoughts that I have for Charles Bukowski were summed up there, but at this point, you must also understand the trauma that, especially when you, okay, I'll talk about sexual harassment. There are so many people like Charles Bukowski um, who people really want to be cancelled because of how they write about women, etc., etc. And I think that's sometimes we don't realize how, like, I might be okay with reading certain Bukowski because, hey, I have a mind that's independent, and I think I don't take everything on face value. And so when I read about Bukowski writing about women a certain way, I'm able to differentiate the good and the bad, the wrong and the right. There are certain people who are very impressionable, and you give them a Bukowski, and they'll think it's okay to treat women like that. And that is where the problem lies. And there are books that I don't remember, I can't think of a name now, but there are books that I've recommended in the past which I think are okay, but only when you have developed a certain intellect. Um, that's the thing with Fountainhead. There are people with starkly different opinions on the book, and I think it's because where you're coming from. I just came from a run. What are we discussing? Hi, Vinav. I hope you had a nice run. They were just around 800 grams, and I thought keeping the pain and stress to myself and dealing with it all alone was my strength, but realized it was the other way around, and I decided to share it. Hey, that's amazing. With other moms, being vulnerable at that moment helped me a lot to understand what I was going through with the help of others. Hey, Oma, I'm so glad you shared your story with us. It must have been difficult, I can imagine. And I absolutely agree. When you're vulnerable, I mean, I'm the kind of person who's always not liked sharing stuff with people. But I think what really has helped me in the past is like talking about the things that bother me to my friends or people I love, and really calms you down. Mm. I always like to throw this question to people who've seen, read, watched a great amount of arts and artists, and it's always so thought provoking. Hey, thanks, man. Hi, Kutivagar, good morning. I just think it's very, it's not black and white. You can't draw a line anywhere. What might be okay for me might not be okay for somebody else. And we all come from different experiences, which give way to different sensibilities. It's a gray area to navigate. And I know, like, a lot of us, most of us, including me, we do not like gray areas. We want things to be either black or white. But yeah, I mean, and it's just. Anyway, this was an amazing session, guys. And I don't know how fruitful it was, but in case you guys are okay with I wanted to read about cooking, which is a very certainly a comparatively light topic. But having said that, I think it's nice we discussed this. So saw the pencil video. It was something I don't know that I would actually think is very intriguing to me, and I would say now I care about pencils. I'm so glad you care about pencils. I just think there's this podcast which I've recommended. Now I've forgotten the name of it. But it is dedicated to pencils, and I think it's one of the best podcast episodes I've heard in my life. Um, but yeah, please end by reading any little text. Hey, don't end the stream too soon. Hit us with a shairi before you leave. BBC podcast. Yes, the BBC one. The BBC one. Even I purchased pencils. Oh, nice. What pencils did you buy? I could do another. Okay, I think I've probably packed all my pencils now, but we can do a stream soon where I discuss the pencils. Perhaps in the next stream if I'm done setting up the new place by then. Pencils are least controversial. Ah, yes. Pencils are the least controversial. The Boring Talks. Yes, thank you, Penumbra. It's the Boring Talks by BBC, and there's one dedicated to pencils, which is amazing. There is one dedicated to jigsaw puzzles as well, which I really liked. Just Classmate Carbon Black is a good pencil. Actually, we couldn't find any pencils by Classmate in the stationery shop we went to, but you're right, we missed on Classmate. Shagun. Yeah. Anyway, how many of you reading Yugant? We'll probably be discussing it either on Sunday or on Monday. But Let me know what your thoughts are, and we'll be discussing it then. And if you would like to join the stream, please write to me on vaani@chalchitratalks.com. And I hope you've been enjoying Tanya's stream as well. She's been doing some amazing streams with a lot of guests, and I think she's doing an amazing job. So do check out her streams. I think she streams on Wednesday evenings, and I'm very happy with the progress she's made so far in such a short span of time. She's going to be an amazing creator. So do check out her works. And we might have new creators as well on the channel. So looking forward to seeing all of yours reactions when that happens. And there are a few videos that are coming out on Kitaabi Cabins. So do check them out. I think I sat down and I filmed recommendation videos after a really long time. Recommendation videos that are dedicated to books, and they'll be coming out in Kitaabi Cabins soon. So stay tuned for that. Hey, do I practice calligraphy? No, not really. With those pencils, no, I don't. I did not have engineering drawing as a subject. I saw a pencil set on internet which costs 120 USD and are made in Japan and contains pens. You know what? I saw the same. I mean, I don't know if I saw a similar set online and I'm dying to buy it. And there's also this Canadian website. For it allows you to make your own pencil. They'll give you the wood, they'll give you the products you'll need to make the pencil, they'll give you the lead, etc. And I really want to buy that as well. But let's see when that happens. I'm trying not to be a hoarder at the moment. Anyway, it was amazing stream, guys. Before I go, somebody wanted a few lines, so I'll just quickly go to and see what I could read. Pencil podcast. Oh, it's. I think it'll be available on Apple Podcasts for sure, or Spotify. Yes. Okay, so I'm going to read. Okay. When you're shooting video from oh, so I was trying to do a video on fountain pens under 100 rupees or 150 rupees, and I think Kakor usme aa jata, right? It's for 120, I think, or 130. I'll do that, but I don't know if the calligraphy pen falls under 100 rupees because I want to make a very budgeted video so that everyone has access to it. Anyway, I will read this one by Nikos Kazantzakis. I don't know how to pronounce the name of certain people, and it really irks a lot of people, and it irks me as well. And they like 450 rupees. Yes, that's the calligraphy pen, I think. Not necessarily the usual Parker pen. Oh, I will figure out what to do there. But you know what? Parker will always anyway defeat most of the fountain pens that come under 100 rupees. So yeah, let's see. But I think I'll do a dedicated video about pens that are less than 100 bucks because I really want to do budgeted stuff because I think it just is accessible to a lot of people. Anyway, there's this quote from Zorba the Greek, which is a book by Nikos Kazantzakis. I don't know how to pronounce his name, I'm sorry. It goes like this. This is true happiness, to have no ambition and to work like a horse as if you had every ambition. To live far from men, not to need them and yet to love them. To have the stars above, the land to your left and the sea to your right, and to realize of a sudden that in your heart, life has accomplished its final miracle. It has become a fairy tale. And there's something I really like. I'll share with you more about Zorba the Greek. It's a 19th century, 1964 comedy drama film. And it's basically about it talks about people who are human beings in general, and people who want to be free uh, are humans. And I think I mean, I just went one day, I discovered, I was like, what's all about the Greek? Because I read the name somewhere and I kind of ended up reading quotes from the place. And I genuinely liked it. So that was that, guys. I'll end the stream now, but when I leave, do share your favorite quotes, either from today or in general in life. I think that's a very nice series. And I remember the last time you guys commented, and that was very nice of you. Thank you so much for commenting. It made my day and the entire week because the comments kept pouring in. But do share your favorite quotes. And I should actually, you know what? I'm going to do this. Give me a second. I will read a quote that was in the last last week's stream. There was a comment. People change, feelings change. When people are apart, sometimes they grow apart. I did not want to change. I did not want this to happen, which was really nice. And there was this poem called Insomnia by which was recommended to me by, this was Devraj Negi, by the way, who commented this, and thank you so much. And there was this poem recommended by Evelyn Ed called Insomnia by Ellen Bass, which I think is really nice. I'm just trying to find, because I'd saved the poem, but I couldn't. It goes all over the world. People can't sleep. In different time zones, they're lying awake. Body still, minds trudging along like child laborers. They worry about bills. They worry whether the shoes they just bought are really too small. One's husband died. Her son left for college, and she doesn't know how to program the VCR. Another was beaten by her husband. One is planning a getaway. One holding stolen goods. One's on the plaid couch in ICU. His daughter, it turned out, actually does have a tumor, even though the doctor said they do the MRI just to rule it out. The woman on the other couch is snoring, which is strangely soothing. Evidence that people do sleep. Some are lying on charisma sheets, some in hammocks, some in jail, some under bridges. One is at the North Pole studying the impact of pollution. A man thinks about a lover he once had in Dar es Salaam, and the jasmine blossoms she strung along the shaft of a silver pin fastened in her hair at night. Coincidentally, the lover now in Rome remembers looking out the window over the sink where she was washing dishes and seeing him reading in the lawn chair. And she thought how perhaps for the first time she wasn't lonely. They're all up. Some are too cold, some are too hot, some hungry, some in pain, some are in hotels listening to people having sex in the next room, some are crying. One, the cat woke up and now she's worried about the rash she noticed in the evening and wonders if her daughter, who's afraid to swim, should be pushed. Some get up, others stay in bed. They eat Oreos or drink wine or both. Many read. A few make Halloween costumes. Some check their emails. They try sleep tapes, hypnosis, drugs. They listen to their clock tick smartly. As a woman in high heels, those who can cling to their mates. An ear pressed to those neighboring lungs like stethoscope, hoping to catch a ride on the steady sleep breath of the other, to be carried like a seed on the body of one who's able. Right now in Japan, dawn is coming, and everyone who's been up all night is relieved they can stop trying. In Guatemala, though the insomniacs are just getting started and have the whole night ahead of them, it's like a wave at the baseball stadium, hands around the world. So, here is a prayer for the wakeful, the souls who can't rest. As you lie with your eyes open or closed, may something comfort you, a mockingbird, a breeze, the smell of crushed mint, rain on the roof, Chopin's nocturnes, your child's birth, a kiss, or even me in my chilly kitchen with my coat on, thinking of you. And well, that's the That's the poem I think Evelyn had recommended us in the comment section of the last stream. So it was amazing. And I read it on one of those nights when I was feeling very insomniacish. I couldn't sleep basically. I wasn't feeling insomniacish. That's something I cannot say. But I wasn't able to sleep that night. So that's that. So the name of the poem was Insomnia and it's by Ellen Bess. And let me know what you guys think of the stream in the comments below and share your favorite poems and quotes. And we'll actually read it out in the next section, next streams section. Sorry. And before we go, I'll just read one comment by Krishna Devs. अगर दरवाजे खुले हैं तो फिर भी आप खुद को पिंजरे में क्यों पाते हैं अकेलेपन के सन्नाटे में आप खुद को ईश्वर के घर और माँ के गोद में खुश पा सकते हैं Nice. But this was amazing, guys. I'll see you again. And let me know how you like the stream and what should we read in the next stream, which will be on next Thursday. On Tuesday, I got really excited because for some reason I thought it's Wednesday and tomorrow morning we'll have the stream. But so I get very excited about Thursday streams. It's just me. But anyway, I'll go now. And Evelyn is here. Evelyn, we just read the poem you recommended last week in the comment section. Thank you for it. And hey, Gravita is here. Thank you, Gravita. It's 8:32 here. But I hope you have a wonderful day, everyone, and not just Gravita. But Devrat is late for the stream. Anyway, I'll just end the stream now. And it was amazing meeting everyone right now. And I'll see you guys again next week on Thursday at 7:30. I think we'll slowly start pushing it to 7. There'll be a new frame. Ideally, it won't be that nice because I would have just moved in the day before. But let's see how it goes. And I'm very excited to meet, to see all of you next week. And comment section. Do comment your favorite bits of the stream if you want to. But I would really look forward to your comments and share your favorite quotes and poetry with me if it's possible for you. I'll see you guys. Everyone have a good day. Bye-bye.